Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I thank all the participants and the eminent panelists joined today for this G-Local conference. And this session is regarding empowering indigenous capacities in monitoring and evaluation, strengthening M&E capacities through rapid evaluations. So we are joined with eminent personalities in our panel like Dr. Sonia Pant ma'am.
Not yet,
Yes, sorry ma'am, soon to be. And she's representing She very recently she was DDG at DMEO, looking after evaluations, and she has spearheaded this initiative of capacity building through rapid evaluations that she will be throwing light on. And we are also joined with two our university partners from Jadavpur University, West Bengal, and SNDT University, Mumbai. And we are also joined with Professor Shyam Singh from ILMA. And we are also joined with JPAL representatives, Sohini Mukherjee. And I will briefly introduce the panelists first, and then we'll open the floor for opening remarks, 6 minutes by each panelist, and then which will be followed up by a moderated question answer session, and then it will be thrown open to the attendees. So the house rules is that the attendees can actually type their questions on the message box. We'll be keeping track of it and take those. If it is particularly directed to any particular panelist, then we will ask them, or if it is open, anybody can answer. Secondly, if the time permits, we will also allow questions by the raise of hand. So these are the house rules, and now I will actually introduce our eminent panelists. We are today joined by Ms. Sonia Pant.
You've already introduced me. Go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. So we are joined by Tanmay Banerjee. She is a professor in Department of Economics, Jadavpur University, Kolkata. Her area of research encompasses industrial organization, microeconomic theory, microeconometrics, microfinance, financial inclusion, and gender analysis and economic growth. She has undertaken various empirical research projects funded by national agencies of India like ICSSR, UGC, etc. We are also joined by Dr. Sanjay Kumar. Dr. Sanjay is currently working as Associate Professor and Head, Department of Economics, SNDT Women's University, Mumbai, with 18 years of teaching experience. And he is also one of our partners in this project of capacity building and rapid evaluations. We are also joined by Professor Shyam Singh, Professor of Social Science. He is also Dean Academics at the Institute of Rural Management, Anand, Gujarat. Dr. Singh is currently a member of Advisory Committee on M&E activities of JSLPS, Rural Development Department, Government of Jharkhand. Dr. Singh is the Chief Editor of Asia Pacific Journal of Evaluation and the co-chair of Consortium of Institutions on M&E education in Asia Pacific, and also engaged in various monitoring, evaluation, and research assignment with multilateral institutions like UNICEF, World Bank, and other agencies. We are also here joined by Ms. Sohini Banerjee. Sohini Banerjee is a lead in JPAL South Asia in the training vertical. She works with various stakeholders like government, central and state level, civil societies, donors, and multilateral organizations to build strong monitoring and evaluation ecosystem in the South Asia. In this role, Sohini has also worked closely with the CLEAR initiative, a global capacity development program coordinated by independent evaluation group at the World Bank to foster a culture of evidence-based decision making in South Asia. So, with this, I will open the panel, open the discussion for the panelists to start the discussion. And to begin with not further ado, I will invite Ms. Sonia Pant ma'am to actually throw light on the experience in this capacity building through rapid evaluation, which we have taken up in DMEO Niti Aayog. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Avinash, and a very good afternoon to all of you. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be amongst such eminent panelists, and I think the theme for this session is very relevant because what I saw in my 2 years in DMEO, looking after evaluation, was a very important bottleneck was capacities, the M&E capacities that we have not just in the government but also in the private sector enterprises and even the big fours who have undertaken some consultancy work for us. There is a big lacuna in terms of M&E capacity building, and often we come back to the same few institutes, the same few people who have worked in this area. And so there is an important need to establish some kind of a capacity building initiative which will lead to enhancement of M&E related work at national as well as sub-national level. So about more than a year and a half back, it was understood that we need to build capacities, M&E capacities at the sub-national level, especially at the level of state universities. And then Avinash and my predecessor, Shri Antony Seriat, they were the ones who actually thought of this unique first of its kind initiative in which we would go ahead and start working with state universities and see whether we can help in building a robust M&E ecosystem in the country. So why we thought we should work with state and other central universities was because these universities, students studying in these universities and the professors, they understand the local context completely. And the way they will judge a scheme or evaluate a performance of a scheme will be completely different from a top-down approach where somebody is parachuted into the system and that person goes and looks at how a particular scheme has worked or not. So we had basically twofold objectives of this exercise, and the first one is obviously to strengthen monitoring and evaluation capacity at the university level, and also to undertake a quick assessment of some of the schemes of Government of India, look at their first order impact in terms of how they have delivered on their listed objectives and goals, and also look at some of the second order impact in terms of the externalities and unintended or intended benefits that they have led to in terms of bettering the quality of living of the concerned beneficiary. So what we thought was that that initially we had an idea of launching it at a much larger scale, and then we thought that maybe at this stage let us focus at about 100 or 150 universities, and we had 2-3 sessions of webinars, and based on what we discussed, we invited proposals, and ultimately we got proposals from a certain number of universities. And finally, out of the 13 to 15, I think, states with state level and other central level universities which expressed interest in terms of undertaking such work, we finally got this work going with, I think, 10 universities. Yes. 10 universities which actually started working on this area. And so we thought that, let us begin with 10 universities, and after we have achieved success with this initiative, and whatever the learnings that we get from this initiative, we will plow it back into a rapid phase 2. We call this rapid assessment and a capacity building exercise. So we thought we will launch a phase 2 of this exercise, and I'm happy to say that we have already started work on that exercise, and we would soon be launching that initiative also. We are now trying to look at a different perspective for that initiative as compared to what we did in the first one, where we looked at household as a unit of inquiry. So, and in the second initiative, we are now trying to change our focus on the unit of inquiry on which the entire evaluation will be based. So, I'd like to give a brief, since there are other people who have joined this webinar and maybe they are not aware of the process that we followed. I'll quickly go through what we did. So basically, after we had agreed with 10 universities that we will go ahead and these universities were finally engaged, we planned out a study sample, and we saw that this study will span over 47 districts and 96 villages over these 10 selected states. The sample size which we decided at an all India level was around 4,000 households, and that ranged from around 150 to 160 households to about 800 households statewide, depending on the number of population in the state. We also saw that for each scheme that was being considered under this evaluation exercise or this capacity building exercise, we will have a minimum of 500 responses so that we are able to come out with certain interpretation from that exercise. So the 8 schemes that we focused on were broadly belonging to 6 sectors, and these schemes were in the health sector, which was PM Jan Arogya Yojana. Then we looked at the education sector, where we looked at Samagra Shiksha. In the energy sector, where we looked at PM Ujjwala. Drinking water and sanitation, where we looked at JJM and SBM. Farmer welfare, we looked at PM Kisan. And women empowerment, where we looked at Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and Matru Vandana Yojana. So based on the selection of the schemes, we left the selection of we just gave a broad guideline in terms of how the university has to undertake this evaluation, and then based on the guidelines that we provided, the sample selection was done by the university themselves. And we have Jadavpur University and SNDT with us today, and they will be able to explain how they went ahead and did their sample selection and how they actually undertook that evaluation exercise. I'm very happy to say that we are nearing completion, and we've got very good quality reports from this initiative. And it really gives me pleasure, and I'm extremely glad to say that this has come out better than what we expected. We never thought that we will end up in this position when we started this exercise. So the children, I have also been to 1 or 2 pilots, and I've seen myself that the students who have been involved in this process have been extremely hands-on. They have really, been wanting to contribute, and I see that from their side, it is not just in professional capacity building experience. They feel the feeling that I got after discussions with them was they feel that they are a part of the nation building exercise. And I think giving them this experience right at the beginning of their career is very important, because this is the generation which will go ahead and contribute to this country's development. We will be left behind somewhere. So that's about it, Abhinash, and then maybe we can carry on, and because I think the experience of the universities would be very relevant. So thank you so much, and I look forward to the discussion that we'll have today.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am, for setting the tone of this discussion. As madam has actually said that we actually got more than what we expected, and the enthusiasm by the states and the students and the universities has been actually tremendous. And with that, actually, I will hand over to Tanmay Banerjee, Professor Tanmay Banerjee, for her take from the user perspective side on how this study panned out and what were their experiences. Over to you, Professor Banerjee.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I have a very small presentation regarding this. I'm sharing it with you. So before proceeding, I must thank NITI Aayog and the DMEO for involving us in this entire project. And it was a very nice experience for us as well as for our students, because they got a hands-on experience regarding how to monitor and do evaluation studies. Okay, so we all know this is just simply our starting. What I say is that we all know the importance of the assessment of the development schemes, because without the true assessment of the schemes, we cannot identify the true beneficiaries. We cannot implement it more efficiently, and there is the question of social gains and the social justice and everything. So it requires whenever we are starting a kind of evaluation studies, it requires a proper training of the evaluators, so that they can get the unbiased responses from the sample household. So when we were involved in this evaluation study with 8 government schemes, so we proceeded in the following manner. So first we did a comprehensive literature review on the existing plans. What we observed is that there are some studies, a very small micro level studies for different states, but we couldn't find any all India level studies for all these schemes. Next, we selected our samples. Since you know that the state of West Bengal has 4 distinct geographical locations, we initially planned to involve districts from all the locations. But after consultation with NITI Aayog, the survey was undertaken in Gangetic West Bengal and the southern part of the West Bengal. We only left the northern Darjeeling Gidi areas. Otherwise, the entire, more or less, the entire district from entire states was covered. And next comes the most important part is of the recruitment of the field workers from our students. So as you know, Jadavpur University is a state university. We have students from almost all the districts in our department. So what we did is that we chose at least 2 students from the sample districts. That is the students who are in our department as well as in other departments of the university. We choose at least 2 students from each of these sample districts. And for East Burdwan, one student is from JU, another student was from Burdwan University. And what was the rationale is that because we felt that if we send somebody from the outside, the households may not open up properly. Because if we send somebody who is from that particular district, who belongs to that particular area, then the data collection will become more easier because that person has already have the aware regarding the local practices and the local dynamics of the local ecosystem, etc. And not only that, in West Bengal, a different dialect of the Bengali language is spoken in different parts of the different districts. The language spoken in Burdwan, Bankura is not same as the language spoken in Murshidabad or Malda. The dialect is entirely different. So that is why we chose students from that particular district because he can speak more properly with the data, with the sample house. So as a result, given this idea, given this sample selections and everything, we then went what we did is that the training of this student. So before that, I must thank NITI Aayog DMEO for conducting the 2 extensive training programs on the questionnaire development and the working of the Kobo software. So we were rather trained regarding these issues, and once the questionnaire was final, they also shared with us the recording of the entire workshops. So once the questionnaire was finalized, we here in JU conducted 2 workshops with the students in order to update them regarding the questionnaires, and we rather try to answer all the questions and queries from them. We try to make them understand regarding what is the first order impact of a particular project and what is the second order impact, the difference between the first order and the second order impact of the project. So after that, we also shared the recordings with the students and update them regarding the working of the Kobo software and everything. Once this training part was completed, what we did is that we sent the students to the respective villages, and we requested them, rather we asked them first to meet the Gram Panchayat Pradhans and the ASHA workers of that particular village. As you all know, the ASHA workers have access to all the village houses. And that is why we said that you must go to the ASHA workers and the Panchayat Pradhan, request them to introduce you to the villagers, and after the introduction, you start the survey. So given this particular way of introduction and everything, the rural survey, in fact, we did not face much problem here, except some technical glitches regarding the update of the Kobo software. That is the only part we felt. And another thing was that whenever you are asking our villagers about his exact age, sometimes we get a very funny answers. It happens sometimes like that the age difference between son and mother is less than 7 years. So that is why we said the students that if possible ask for the Aadhaar card for the exact age of the students. Some households complied with the request and some refused to show the Aadhaar card. So basically involving the local people, involving the ASHA Karmis and all, help us to mitigate the challenges regarding the survey related challenges, and basically it improved the rate of response also. Now after finishing the rural survey, we went to the slum area survey. In the slum area, we chose one slum, that is the Pyarabagan Basti from Kolkata Ward 69, KMC Ward 69. So when we select that particular area, first I personally went to that particular area to speak to the local KMC councillor, and after requesting him, after showing him everything from the NITI Aayog and all, then he then introduced us to his representatives within the particular slum. because after that we went with our team along with the two members from DMEO and Niti Aayog also accompanied them during the survey. We completed the slum survey in 2 days. There were 107 respondents from the slum area, and in total in West Bengal we collected data on 817 households. Total we have a, even if that we were asked to choose around something around 500 or something, but we have a data around 800 and more entire thing. So what I feel is that this was an extremely very nice experience for our students. They received an hands-on training regarding this, and since the way we conducted the survey by involving the people from the grassroots, that actually helped us to get data more easily. Instead of from the top to bottom approach, what the Sonia ma'am said, we directly went to the village panchayat pradhans and the asha workers, and because of that what happened is that the people, students were introduced by them to the villagers, and that actually helped us to collect the data more easily from the from these particular areas. And after that we did the data we were given a template for report writing and everything. Following that template, we wrote the report and submitted it to the Niti Aayog. So this is our experience, and I really thank Niti Aayog for involving Jadavpur University in this particular process. It helped our students a lot. They learned different things from this entire survey. Actually, they learned how these projects, these 8 very important schemes are actually working and how they are changing the lives and livelihoods of the people in the village area. So this I can share. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to this particular forum. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Banerjee. I now invite Professor Sanjay Kumar from SNDT University for his take on this entire exercise. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you, Dr. Abhinash Dash, moderator of this panel discussion and the director of the DMEO. Also, I thank also the Sonia ma'am and other panelists from the other universities. At the outset, I would like to thank Development Monitoring and the Evaluation Office, Niti Aayog, and their officials for selecting the SNDT University from the state of Maharashtra. SNDT University is the first women's university in India and the Southeast Asia, established in 1916 by the Bharat Ratna Maharshi Karve. And I also would like to thank for inviting me for this today's panel discussion. This is the first kind of, I could say that the collaborative initiative between the SNDT Women's University and the Niti Aayog. We can say that, and also I would like to thank my university also for giving me an opportunity to supervise this project as a key personnel on this project. For me personally, when this project has been handed over to the university, and it was there was no clarity what exactly is to be done or what is the purpose of this initiative. But as the time went, with the several personal and the collaborative discussions, meetings, training sessions from the DMEO, we could get clarity about the personal preparing the proposal, sampling framework, and could successfully complete the project. We can say that for most of the PG and the PhD student, it was the first kind of experience on working on such kind of project. And initially, when they were also having many doubts, but at the end, they reported that indeed it was a great learning experience and helped this initiative to empower their indigenous capacities in monitoring and evaluation. In this initiative, I would say that various stakeholders such as university officials, teachers, PG students, PhD scholars were involved. And due to, I would say that several initiatives or several collaborative discussions, meetings, training sessions from the DMU, we could clearly, first of all, we could clearly establish clear goals, objectives, indicators to measure the success of the implementation of the selected 8 schemes for the evaluation. And also we could develop the timeline and also the budget and different heads of the budget for this project. Also could develop the it helps the trainings also help in the developing the standardized data collection process and the protocols, and also the continuous guidance or help from the DMEO ensure that the data is collected in an efficient and accurate manner, which help us to draw the more reliable, I would say, the results. Also, the monitoring and evaluation process periodically in order to determine if the project is achieving its desired outcomes or not. So the regularly, I would say that regularly the review and the update of the monitoring evaluation process was done to ensure that it is efficient and effective. Also, the problems I would say that which we faced were addressed swiftly and decisively. For the students, I would say that means, as I have said, that was for the PhD student and the PG students. So it was a great learning experience because they reported that there was an enhanced understanding of the community needs, because the students learn the importance of the gaining a deep understanding of the needs of the challenges faced by the communities they interacted with. Also, through the direct conversations with the beneficiaries, they glean first-hand insights into the impact of the schemes such as the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi schemes and the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana on daily lives. Also, this initiative, they reported also that it has improved the communication skills, because engaging with the diverse beneficiaries, we can say that on the communication skills of the field surveys, they learn to effectively convey the purpose of the survey. Also, they gather the valuable information and address the concerns of the queries raised by the respondents, because this was very important. Also, while doing the survey, they reported that there was some of the there was a gap between the officials which has been given about the beneficiaries, or we can say the benefits of the scheme. Sometimes some of them deliberately they denied, and therefore they could recognize that whether the respondents are giving the correct information or they are giving the wrong information. And therefore they have intended the respondents to give the correct and proper information through the cross questions. This initiative also, I would say that help in the empowerment through the engagement, because the students recognize the power of actively involving in the beneficiary in the survey process. This engagement empowered the respondents to voice their opinions and the experiences. Also, the fostering a sense of ownership and the active participation in evaluating schemes like the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme and the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. They also reported that it helped the professional development opportunities. I would say that because conducting the survey provided the valuable professional development opportunities for the field surveyor, because they gained the practical experience in the data collection, because they were involved in this data collection process, because they were also involved in the sampling design. They also were involved in the preparing the proposal. They were also involved in the data analysis process. So it was a great learning experience for them because they were having a continuous interaction with the professors. They were having because when they were involved, they were having so many doubts, and therefore with the help of the professors, they could clarify their doubts. So there was a great learning experience, professional development, I would say that, and equipping them with the valuable skills for the future endeavors in the social research. Also, they reported that the insights into the program impact, because the field surveys, or we would say the students, witnessed the first hand the tangible impact of the government program on the lives of the beneficiaries, and they learned to recognize the positive changes brought about by the initiatives such as the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan and the Pradhan Mantri Matruvanda Yojana. Also, the building the trust relationship, because through these interactions, through this initiative, the students learn the importance of the building the trust, also the rapport with the communities, and with this trust is essential for the success of the future, we can say their research endeavors, and for the fostering the long-term relationship with the stakeholders. Also, I would say that it also helped in the contribution to the evidence-based decision making, because the data collected by the students it was crucial part of the evidence based for the decision making, And they learn that their meticulous gathering of the information ensures the policymakers have accurate and the reliable data to inform the choices regarding the implementation and the communication of the gathering initiatives. Also, by recognizing the efforts, whatever they have contributed by the senior professors and the official university officials, they also, I would say that they learn that their dedication and the efforts in conducting through survey are integral to the success of the overall evaluation process. I would means they also, I would say that in this process, I would say that the learning from the survey process in the Maharashtra have been invaluable to the students, and this include the enhanced understanding of the community needs, improved communication skills, empowerment through the engagement, professional development opportunities, insights into program impact, trust building within communities, contribution to the evidence-based decision making, recognition of their efforts in facilitating the survey process. So these learnings not only enrich the skills and the experiences of the students, but also it contributed to the overall success and the effectiveness of the, we can say, the government initiatives in the state. Means some of the, we can say, the student also reported that there was a need to have the proper guidance also, because always in spite of having, since it was also the first experience to us, and also we also personally learned that there is a more need of the, we can say, the more trainings or more interactions with the students. And one of the problem which we also faced while doing the survey, that whatever the data was collected, so but we were not having any control of the what kind of data is collected, what kind of information is collected from the different students or the different field surveys, and we couldn't compare whether the data is, we can say that whether all the surveys are having a proper data collection, or there is a similarity, or whether are there any differences in the data collection. Because if we could have been a control over the what kind of data is collected at the time of data collection, therefore then we could communicate them that this is that these are some of the differences, and we could interact and we could improve the accuracy and, I would say, the efficiency in the data collection. In the we can say the sampling framework, as the Sonia ma'am said, that's a few some is have some highlight on the sampling framework from the Maharashtra. I would like to explain the sampling framework in the 4 stages. In the first stage, what we have done in the sampling process for this study, as the Maharashtra has, we can say, it is divided in the 5 geographical regions, like the North Maharashtra, Konkan, Marathwada, Vidarbha, and the Western Maharashtra. And to have the representation from each region or each geographical region, for this we have taken the decision that we have selected the minimum 2 districts from each of these regions, and we have 9 districts we have taken for this, selected for this, and which are having the more, we can say, the penetration of the schemes. And this selection strategy help in the capturing the diversity of the state and considering the factors such as demographic and economic activities and the cultural activities. From each, we can say, the district, for the study purpose, we have identified 2 to 3 villages. And I would say that size of the, we can say that for this approach ensures that both the we have ensured that both the rural and the urban areas are included in the survey from the each district. And in the second stage, from each of the 9 selected districts, the survey randomly selected the Gram Panchayat and the blocks through this process, and the total 19 Gram Panchayat and the blocks were identified for the survey. In the third stage, from each of the total 19 Gram Panchayat and the blocks, the study identified the villages randomly, and finally, in the stage 4, finally from each village, we can say we have, based on the list from the beneficiaries obtained from the Gram Panchayat office or the office of the block development officers, we conducted a survey of 570 households in the rural region and 236 households in the urban region. So in total, The survey covered the 806 households from the Maharashtra. I would like to we have a great learning experience through this initiative from the DMEO, and the students have really benefited. So I would like to thank to the DMEO, Niti Aayog and their officials. Yeah, thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor. Just before moving on to the next speaker, I would like to give a clarification that for the data quality purpose, we actually had the dashboard, both access from our end and also access at the university. So we were real time monitoring what are the type of data and how many respondents have been data has been points have been collected for each of the schemes separately, and also so there were some quick rounds of checks with regard to data quality and efficiency. So yeah, I agree that this was first initiatives, but there were checks and balances for the ensuring good quality of data. Now to broaden this discussion, and I would invite Professor Shyam from IRMA. So not only to our DMEO initiative, but also the broader topic for the discussion today is empowering indigenous capacities in M&E. Over to you for your opening remarks, Professor Shyam.
Thank you very much, Avinash ji. Very important topic, and I really appreciate the work that Niti is doing. I think it is one of the current need in order to localize the many education in India and in Asia Pacific in general. I'll just talk about three major points: where we are, what are the hindrances, and what can be done. In terms of where we are, in terms of the role of academia in promoting M&E education, there are three areas. One is training, another is research, grant and consulting, and third is knowledge building. And I'm keeping research and knowledge building a little bit separate. When it comes to training, I think academic institutions are going ahead, and I think I see a very, very good signal where a lot of universities and institutions are coming together. But training mostly to me is a mostly prescription that you provide. You talk to people what they should be doing, and without any proper action research, sometimes they are not able to really provide insight what should be the innovation that you should be doing in M&E. So I see training as a kind of revenue generation activity, and also along with some of the prescription that they provide. In terms of research, we don't have research grants in M&E. We have a lot of consulting projects. So the consulting projects give ample opportunity for the academia to learn. But if you don't have research grants, it's very difficult for academia to publish. And that's where your knowledge building exercise is also restricted. Your knowledge building exercise is as free as the data used. Many times what commissioning agencies say that, okay, this is data, you cannot publish, you cannot use it. Well, we can train students. We can definitely have a good training program, but if we can't, write, on paper, then our knowledge building capacities are constrained. So this is where we are. I mean, if I move to what are the hindrances, just couple of, there are many, but I would like to focus on few. For academia, and I come from academia, M&E is still a tool or method. It has to be a philosophy. It has to be a construct. It has to be a discipline. And I think that's where I'm again saying the work that you are doing, Avinash ji and Sonia ji, is of extremely importance, because it needs to go beyond the idea that it is just a tool or method. Number one. So I think that is one of the hindrances. Number two, the stereotype thinking that it's the job of the consultant. No, I think M&E is not only the job of the consultant, it's the job of probably the teachers, the professors, the students, government, public policy professionals, everybody. So the second mindset that I see is that it's a job of the consultant. I think it is beyond that. Third, very important, is our regulatory framework, and I'm talking about India, is still not very supportive of M&E education. NAP is definitely a good start, but I think we need to have courses approved in UGC and AICTE where the institutions can can run those courses. I see these three hindrances that are very important. There are many. I think in some other time we can talk about them. What can be done? As per my little experience that I have in M&E for the last 8-10 years, capacity building of academic institutions is essential, which I think you are doing it. But I would take a little bit forward, that is not only for the consultancy. I think the capacity building exercise should also be done for the knowledge building exercise. Creating many frameworks, they are very important. I mean, I'll be really happy if I can actually make a many framework for Gram Panchayat, which can actually take it forward and make a a village development plan. And that's where I think I'll suggest one one action point in next 1 minute. Another another thing that we can do is to really advocate with the regulatory systems. Ministry of Education, UGC. See, we don't have UG PG program. We don't, in the Western countries, they have advanced 1 year advanced master program. We don't have that concept in India. Why can't we engage with Ministry of Education in UGC? And I think Neeti can be a great help. I'm sorry, I'm not putting you in some very, peculiar position, but I'm saying actually you can help. You can partner with your institutions like, the Jadavpur University and others, and actually they can engage with UGC in terms of what we can do so that the students, 12th pass students can also do a course on M&E. The last point, what can be done is, I think it's a long pending, but I think it is very important platform for me to mention. We need to have a national evaluation policy framework. If we have a national evaluation policy framework, this gives us an entry point for academic institutions to push the agenda of M&E education. So I know that Neeti probably at some point of time was thinking about it, but can we do it? I think it's Sri Lanka has one. Now, since they have one, their universities are now coming with the program on M&E, and they are training the students, not training professionals, they are training students on that. Last part of my intervention here is what potential contribution can academia provide? One, they can create individual more than job ready individuals for sure. Why I'm saying this? Because developing evaluability mindset among the students is very important so that they can start asking questions in their Gram Sabha, in their ward, in their town. It doesn't matter where they are. So develop evaluability mindset is important. If we do that, then what happens is the community understanding of M&E also develops. If you teach 10+2 students, if you teach undergraduate students what M&E is, they go back and actually talk about it in their day-to-day life. I see this is one of the best mechanisms to develop community understanding about M&E. And therefore, M&E can become a grassroots practice. Last point, but it's also, I would say, a threat or rather a warning for academia. Academia needs to brace itself. See, the moment you make M&E as a discipline, it's just not an easy job. It's just not, a cakewalk. You have several problems when it becomes a discipline. And in last few years, what I have seen is, and I have been saying this in some platform, is imperfect information, fake news. See, in monitoring and evaluation, we talk about the changes, behavior changes. We talk about the outcomes and impact. And there's a lot of information asymmetry. Now, as a discipline, economics have some tools to deal with it. Some of the disciplines have some tool to deal with it. Political science, in fact, promote it, forget about it. But when it comes to M&E, I think they need to address these challenges very carefully when it becomes a discipline. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for your enlightening inputs on this topic. Very relevant, where we are, where we want to go, and your solutions also. We'll come to that in a bit. But let me now move on to Ms. Sohini Mukherjee for her opening remarks. Over to you, Sohini.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dash, and hi everyone. It's so nice to hear the fellow panelists talk about the great work that they are doing. And again, a big congratulations to the DMEO team for the fantastic work that you are doing on local researcher capacity building. So I'll quickly talk about, as Dr. Dash mentioned in the beginning, I work with CLEAR JPAL South Asia. So I'll quickly talk about our work on local researcher capacity building and what we are doing in this. So for those of you who don't know, CLEAR South Asia is a core implementing partner of Global Evaluation Initiative, which is a global partnership of M&E practitioners working towards M&E ecosystem building, and it is co-managed by World Bank and UNDP. So more broadly, we work on institutionalizing evidence use by developing M&E frameworks, M&E systems. We work directly with the government and in the region more broadly. We are hosted by JPAL South Asia, but in terms of our work streams, we work on conducting diagnostics, conducting landscaping work. We do a lot of work on capacity building and providing strategic advisory to CSOs, to donors, to governments, and then we also work in knowledge dissemination. So just to kind of quickly come back to the topic of today's discussion, and it was so nice to hear Dr. Sham also talk about his broader observations on capacity building and of local researchers. I think I wanted to take a step back and talk about the motivation, like why are we doing what we are doing, right? So I think for us, it was a little bit deeper. It was not just that local researcher was just another stakeholder for us to work with. I think they are a very important component when you think about evaluation capacity development for developing the broader M&E ecosystem in India. But for us, it was a little bit deeper. And I think the reason is, and there is a lot of research that has been undertaken, which really shows that, you know, when it comes to what gets studied and how they are studied, it ultimately depends a lot on the background of the researcher. And then when you particularly think about the global South and researchers who work in the global South, they continue to face a lot of systemic challenges and barriers, right? So it can be things like lack of exposure to practical experience, things that, you know, Dr. Sham was mentioning, lack of access to professional networking and mentorship, limited access to funding, which was also something that he mentioned, and also lack of research infrastructure. So I think the way we kind of thought of addressing some of these challenges was essentially twofold. One was to build the skills and capacity of the researchers, but also at the same time have some sort of a collaboration, and particularly research collaboration between the global as well as the local researchers. So I'm going to quickly talk about two such initiatives of ours, which we are all very excited about. So the first is the Research for Impact Fellowship that we run. This was something that started in 2018. And here we are directly targeting PhD scholars. So basically students who are still in their PhD program, who are still not in the job market. So we want to be able to ultimately train them so that we can cultivate a network of academics who can essentially go on to generate policy relevant research in India. So the way we kind of do that is we provide them with the teaching material, which is basically around workings on impact evaluation methods, so more on the conceptual understanding. And these courses are trained, are undertaken by leading development economists. There is also a data collection component. So it's just not on the impact evaluation side. We also realize that there is a lacuna when it comes to just understanding the nuts and bolts of how data is collected. Things around quality assurance. I think Dr. Banerjee was also talking about that. Research design, large-scale primary data collection. Those are also some of the things that we train them on. And then there is a practical component where these PhD scholars, they can get the practical experience of working in a project for over 2-3 months and get that hands-on experience. So kind of moving on, this program is kind of thought of in 2 stages. So in stage 1, as I was mentioning, they do these courses. Some of it is on the JPAL MIT MicroMasters platform. So this is a MITx online MicroMasters platform where there are courses around public policy, and we give students the scholarship to do these courses. And these courses are more broadly on public policy, on impact evaluation. They also get to do a hands-on in-person research training. And post that, they are matched to a research project, as I was mentioning, where they can get the mentoring experience, but they also get to work and get the practical hands-on experience. So through that, we have been working with a number of scholars, as you can see on your right, in India, and building that skill set. Now, quickly jumping into the second program that we have, that is the Indian Scholars Program. And here our target audience is slightly different. Here we are working with junior researchers. So folks who are already in the job market, who are already in the academic sphere, they are professors, but they are junior faculty members. So essentially how we can train them, and with the goal of having an India-based researcher pool who can actually participate in the development research agenda in India. So that's our broader goal. We launched this program in 2021. We are also training them again on impact evaluation, on the broader development sector. We are providing the funding. So this initiative provides funding to the junior faculty member, because as I think Dr. Sham was talking about, this is again one of the challenges that researchers face. There is a training component to it, but at the same time, we are also providing them with management, operational support, and also sponsorship. So what essentially happens is, if the junior faculty member, they get selected and they complete the stages, they complete the coursework, they can actually get the funding to do the research, and they will also be paid with they will also be paired with a senior faculty member who might be a professor at, say, an MIT or a Harvard, who might be a JPAL affiliate, but essentially they will be guiding them in doing the research. So they get that practical experience to undertake the research. Now, we have done 2 rounds of this program so far. We have, this generously funded by Gates Foundation and GIF, Global Innovation Fund. And we have given, we have funded programs worth $221,000 in year 1, which was 2021, and $127,000 worth of programs that we have funded through this initiative. So just to kind of quickly wrap up this discussion, what are some of the lessons that we have learned through both the programs, right? And what can we take away from this discussion? I think the first is, whenever we are thinking of designing any such program that really targets the local researcher capacity building, in this case, thinking about having a component of brainstorming with the stakeholder, understanding what their needs are. For example, in our case, we initially thought that we will only talk about impact evaluation and train the researchers just on impact evaluation component, right? But when we actually did the stakeholder consultation, we realized that data collection is an equally challenging topic for the researcher. So that's why we actually incorporated that component into both of our programs. I think the second aspect is just the openness to redesign and reinvent our programs as we move along, and even going back to the drawing board. So just to give you an example, our Research for Impact program initially had 3 steps. It had 3 stages actually, but what we realized was that there was a lot of dropouts as participants went along each step. So a lot of people were dropping off before we get into the practical stage, which was actually something that we wanted to address head on, and we kind of then updated the program structure and made it much more leaner and simpler. Thinking about leveraging existing platforms and structures that you might have within your own institution, and thinking how we can use that to really improve the learning experience, and thinking about how you can go beyond just the technical knowledge and skill sets, right? So for example, in our case, we realized that some of our researchers actually struggle with proposal writing, right? Struggle with stakeholder engagement, right? So bringing in those practical components into the programs were also crucial, so that they get more hands-on practical experience to do this research work moving forward, beyond just the technical skill sets. And then I think the last point is on DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion. For us, it wasn't something that we actively tried to ensure in our program, but that was actually a happy, coincidence that we were able through these programs reach out to diverse, participants around people, and try to also reach out to women, people from diverse backgrounds as well. Thank you so much for having me, and over to you, Dr. Dash.
Yeah, thank you, Sohini, for such a giving us an overview of the JPAS initiatives in terms of capacity building and also promoting students in the sphere of M&E. Now, I will open up this discussion, this forum for discussion, and beginning with coming back to the initiative which we took in DMEO. I would ask Sonia ma'am to actually throw some light on what were our key learnings, takeaways from our this initiative in round one, and you have also very kindly visited one of the states, Uttarakhand, and what do you see like the enthusiasm among students and their participation? So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Avinash, and thank you to all of you. It was really nice hearing from all of you different perspectives in the M&E space. So, broadly coming back to the initiative, our own initiative in DMEO. So, some of the key learnings. I think there are the key learning. The first key learning is that we should continue this process. So we should not stop. This should not be a one-off exercise that we did it in a particular year, we generated a report, we were happy with it, and then we forget it. So this should be a continuous exercise, and we should keep doing it, because only if we continuously do it will we actually lead to proper capacity building. The other thing which I felt was that maybe though we involve students directly, but students they would at a point of time they will graduate out of the university, or they will do their PhDs or whatever post graduation and move out. So they take that important lesson with them, but then when we begin for the next session, we come back to square one. So I think it is very important then to have proper engagement with the faculty, because our point of contact has to be the faculty, who will then keep guiding new batches of students. And maybe we should have this exercise started about a year and a half back, and maybe that time we couldn't have any most of our capacity building and experience sharing sessions were done online. But I think we should go ahead and now do some physical meetings, online meetings, develop our own relationships with the capacity, with the universities, with their professors, so that this can truly move ahead. That is one thing that I truly feel. Secondly, I think what we can also think about in future is, and Avinash will say, Madam has left, now she's giving ideas, but what I feel secondly is that when we have these students which are working for us, maybe they can come to Delhi and be with us for maybe a week or so. That also will help us to understand what their needs are, and that will also help them in getting involved with the Apex monitoring and evaluation body. That is something I think which we can do. Thirdly, the entire team that have been involved in this exercise, and I want to congratulate every one of them, Avinash being their leader, then Shruti, all the YPs who are involved in this, Neeti, and everybody else who have done this work with so much of diligence, that they have prepared a full guidelines and documentation. Maybe we can take the experience from the universities, improvise on those guidelines and documentations. Maybe we can put it out on our website for others also to follow. It should be a public resource, so that maybe we can think of doing that, so that others can also understand from how we generated it, how we did it, and how to do it in future for other schemes. And maybe at state level, if the what I felt in Uttarakhand was when we went to Pantnagar University, and there the professor was telling us that after this initiative, the local state government is also approaching us that now M&E, why don't you evaluate our state level schemes also. So that is something which is good, because that kind of that initial we have planted that initial seed. And also what I want to say is that at the university level also, when we are, DMEO as such conducts a lot of third-party evaluation exercises. Some are of very big nature, some are smaller in their, in their capacity or in their entire scope. You must keep, whatever evaluation we conduct is through an open tender process, or it is well advertised in our website. Please keep seeing that and please come back to us, try to do bigger evaluation exercise, competitively bid for those evaluations, while we will keep trying to do capacity building of all universities, but also the universities themselves, the bigger ones who have the capacity in terms of their professors, to come on board and talk to us, and maybe we can look at a evaluation where a university can actually undertake a proper evaluation through a competitive bidding process, and that will be true improvement, in terms of the capacity levels. And what I hear from Dr. Sham saying, I think it is a very important, he really stressed on something very relevant when he said that it should not be looked at a tool. M&E is not just a tool, it is a discipline. And I do take note of your points. Maybe, sometimes separately we can sit and we can see, being this apex monitoring and evaluation body, how can DMEO itself promote this entire concept of M&E as a discipline? And so that is a wonderful idea, and we should work on that. And thanks to Sohini, you also explained about several initiatives that JPAL is doing. And what I understood, that you spent a lot of money, but that more than $200,000. That must be a global budget, or that much of money has been spent on M&E capacity building in India.
Yeah, that was funded by Gates Foundation and Global Innovation Initiative. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's very nice. I hope others can also come up and do this, what you are doing. And I'm ever thankful to Jadavpur University and SNDT. They've shared their valuable experiences. We will take account of everything, improve our documentation with that. And I do understand what Dr. Sanjay said, that, real-time active control over the data is very important. And I understood from Avinash that actually dashboard access was available with everybody. Probably, we hadn't communicated it in that way that, you can also go and see. So maybe next time that is a learning point that we get, that, all of us should actively monitor. Though in DMU, our team was looking at it continuously, but even at the state level, the professors who are doing it should also have a look at the data. And thanks to Professor Banerjee also, she gave a very important point about involving local people and local students in the data collection process, so that, you are able to actually understand what the beneficiary is saying. Also, maybe they also will not get intimidated by presence of familiar faces, and they'll be able to express in a more open manner. So thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We have given a summary of all the entire discussion, which we have made my job far easier. So, ma'am, moving on to basically what ma'am is saying is like a greater involvement of DMEO with the partner institutions like universities and international institutions like JPAL and other UN agencies. So, ma'am has said that we have an internship program at NITI and DMEO. So the students who are actually engaged, they can come over and join for, we have a 6 weeks program. So that's there. As ma'am has stressed out on the bigger evaluation aspects. So not only, so this was a first of its kind initiative, but we'll like to take it forward. There is round 2, and also involvement of these universities who have now some kind of base in M&E, who are being approached by the state government also. So they can also take up bigger evaluation, which we all publicize extensively in our website. So I would like to go over to Professor Sanjay and Professor Tanmay Banerjee with regard to what were your experiences in terms of students' enthusiasm, taking M&E as a kind of career perspective. From that perspective, they were engaged. I hear that they were engaged in first of its kind project, and they were now do they seek taking it forward, and what is the involvement of the students in this area? What are your takeaways from this project?
May I?
Hello. Can you please repeat
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, Professor Sanjay, then Professor Banerjee.
Thank you, sir. Actually, Ms. Tanmay Madam has highlighted and covered the various points. So, from our point, Ms. Our university also, I would like to have some of the we can say the key learnings or the key takeaways from this initiative. I would like to also mention that for the students, so it was a real world exposure because through the involvement in through the involvement in this DMEO project, our students have gained the practical exposure to the monitoring and the evaluation practices in the various sectors, such as an education, health, governance, etc. And this hands-on experience is invaluable for their understanding of the theoretical concepts and their application in the real world. Because moving from the theory to practice, so I would like to mention that one of the example in this project, the best practices of the selected 8 schemes of the government of India in the Maharashtra state, the student have experienced the village life firsthand, and also the applying the theoretical knowledge from the subjects like the rural development and the agriculture economics. Also, I would like to mention that it has provided the networking opportunities because the working on this DMU project allowed the students to connect with the professionals and the experts in the monitoring and the evaluation field. And these connections can lead to the internships, as you have mentioned that the NITI DMU also provide the internships. So this can be helped. And also the job opportunities and also the mentorship relationship, which are crucial for their career development. Because I would like to mention here that engaging with the heads of the Nagar Panchayat and the Jilla Parishads in these mentioned projects has facilitated the valuable networking to the students. Also, it has helped the in terms of the skill development because students could enhance their analytical research and the data management skills by actively participating in this DMU initiative, and they can learn they also learn to the various monitoring and the evaluation tools, methodologies, and the software while doing this, working on this project and making them more competitive in the job market because it helped to. And through this project also, I would like to mention that the students have learned the advanced Excel applications also for this data analysis. Also, it helped in the contribution to the social impact because this DMEO initiative often, I would say that focuses on the evaluating and the improving programs and the policies aimed at the social development. By contributing to these initiatives, students can have a direct impact on improving the effectiveness and the efficiency of the social interventions and thereby making a positive difference in the people's lives. For example, I would like to say that the project cultivated the students' sensitivity towards the social and the economic issues. Also, I would like to mention here that the research opportunities, this DMEO initiative has involved the conducting the research studies and collecting data and analytical findings. Students could get the involved in the research activities, and this help which also may lead in the future to publications and the conference presentations and academic recognitions. Also, I would like to mention this enhanced curriculum because it is helped because universities can incorporate the lessons learned from this DMU initiative into the curriculum and enriching the educational experience for the student studying in the monitoring and evaluation related courses. And this ensures that the student can equipped with the relevant knowledge and the skills that meet to the evolving needs in the field in this field. Also, in the last, I would like to mention that the visibility and the reputation being associated with this DMU initiative and has enhanced the visibility and the reputation of the SNDT University, especially in the field of the monitoring evaluation. And this can attract the students, researchers, and the funding opportunities may be further increase and further strengthening the institution's position in the academia and also the beyond that. Overall participation in this DMO initiative also has provided us a rich learning experience for the student interested in the field of monitoring and evaluation, and also offered them opportunities for the professional growth and the networking and the making meaningful contribution to the society. Thank you, sir.
Over to you, Professor Banerjee. Professor Tanvi Banerjee, can you hear us? Yeah, Professor Tanvi Banerjee.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah,
I
over to
was
you, ma'am.
I think I got disconnected. Would you please repeat the question?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
There is
Yeah,
some
so
network issue. I think, would you please repeat the question?
yes. Ma'am, actually, this was a common question for both the university with whom we have partnered. So basically, like, kindly share your experiences, experiences of the students, and do they like want to take M&E as a job opportunity in future, because they were involved in first of its kind initiative like this. So
Okay, so
and
what I can say is that first I should mention that in Jadavpur University at the undergraduate study, we have one paper of dissertation where the students have to undertake a primary survey-based research. We usually form a group and we give some kind of research training and the training on research methodologies. After that, students have to collect some data from the field and they then analyze those data and everything. So in our case, for our students, they have some kind of, what I'll say, they have some initial training regarding the data collection and all, because it's a part of our curriculum. So given these things while doing, but those data collections are obviously, hello, am I audible?
yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, you are audible.
Hello. So for Jadavpur University, what we observed is that the initial, like, for the training on data collection, they already had that because it is an integral part of our curriculum. So now when they were involved in the Niti Aayog project, it was obviously on a large scale basis, and they have to visit those districts. They learn their customs, the way the different schemes and working and everything. But what I felt is that first of all, these all 8 schemes were already there. Is it possible for Niti Aayog to involve the students in some kind of RCT, that is the randomized control trial, where from the very beginning the entire policy framework for a particular group will be formed, so that there will be a baseline survey and followed the baseline survey, there will be the treatment, and after that they will go to the second round surveys and all. So this will be, I think, will be more helpful for the students for the M&E capacity building, from the point of view of the M&E capacity building, to understand how actually the policies are formed and how they are, at which policy will be beneficial, or which treatment is good or which treatment is bad. Those things will be made much clearer to the students. And I think it will be best, I don't know whether it will be possible or not, but if the students or the state universities can be involved in the randomized control trial for construction of the policy framework, then that will in future, I think, would help build the M&E capacities in a more better manner. This is my personal view. And also, as you already have some internship programs, can these internship programs be integrated with the M&E capacity building? Then I think that will be also very helpful for the students. So that is what I can add.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much for your for the inputs, ma'am. The one thing I would like to clarify, like, evaluation like has a wide spectrum. Like, it is from beginning of collection of data with regard to best practices to the randomized control trial, which JPAL is famous for. So there is a requirement for each kind of evaluations, so that there are different types of evaluation which fits into the various purpose for which we are evaluating. So basically, it doesn't like one size fits all doesn't apply here. So that's so the objective of this exercise was to actually create an enthusiasm in the students of various universities spread across India, and to build a M&E capacity. I know, like, obviously in universities there are research faculties and research projects being conducted, but the focus here was to actually evaluate a government of India schemes and to bring out best practices and to also look into the second order impact. So that was the kind of arrangement which we had. So that's why we went for a different kind of methodology. RCT, as you know, that you need a baseline and all those things. So you have to like begin from the first step, and involvement of the government department which comes up with such kind of program that has to be created from the beginning itself. So yes, I agree that there is a wide RCT is also one of the important kind of methodology which we follow. But apart from that, we have also qualitative and other instruments to judge the performance of any program. So, like now moving on to Professor Sham. So I would like to know from you that what are like, is there any steps taken by IRMA to actually build the MNE curriculum into your university, and students taking active participation in such kind of curriculum? Over to you, Professor Sham.
Thank you, Avinash. Yes, we have taken certain very planned efforts in the last 6 to 7 years. We don't have a separate program on MNE because, as I was saying, that we don't have such program in AICT, so we cannot apply for this. But within the program that we have, that is a PGTM program, rural management. So what we have done is, so we provide a couple of courses for every student, and those are public policy analysis and project management. So they give a very brief, simple flavor of the policy understanding, at the same time how they should manage the project, which have some ideas of MNE. Then select student out of that, maybe around 60 to 70. We give them 2 more courses, monitoring and evaluation and impact evaluation. So impact evaluation basically is an impact assessment and outcome assessment. MNE is mostly like continuous monitoring and continuous evaluation. After that, select few 30 or 35 students, go for field experiment. We have a course on field experiment as well. So I think we have built a cohort of 5 to 6 courses within PGTM rural management, where we have around 60 students getting fairly well trained on MNE. We have 2 clubs we have promoted. One club is they call Development Consultancy Club, where I am one of the mentors. So we mentor students on impact evaluation, the internship, the live projects. Then they have another club, it's called Public Policy, Adbudya Public Policy Club, where it's a bigger, wider understanding of public policy is provided. And we do provide live projects. So for example, for my course, I reach out to various NGOs and government organizations for giving them some of the assignments which they can do while in IRMA. So I also help them, getting some live projects while they are doing the coursework, in any of these courses. So this is something we have done in the last 5-6 years, and we are trying to strengthen it further in coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Over to you, Sohini. Like, we would like to know from you that how you have been ensuring greater participation of students as young emerging evaluators across the country through JPAL initiative. Yeah, over to you, Sohini.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dash. So I think when you think about young and emerging evaluators and thinking about the participation, I think it starts from the process of application, right? So oftentimes we know that participants struggle to fill in the application form. So we provide that kind of a support. Again, there is a lot of evidence from job market that shows that that kind of a support in application process really helps in long-term outcomes. And I mentioned about the funding, I mentioned about the mentorship aspects that really helps. There is also other aspects like networking, like meet and greet with the wider development sector professionals, academia more broadly, more senior people, which also we build in our programs. And also we are in the process of actively fundraising for our initiatives, both the initiatives that I mentioned today, so that we can more proactively ensure diversity and greater participation by the young and emerging evaluators. So I'll stop there. Yeah. Over to you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Dash.
Thank you, Swami. So we will now take like based on we have around 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll take questions from the audience, and we have some questions uh, from question one is like why Kobo tool? What is the advantage and disadvantage? Any other survey tool DMU is recommending for surveys? So, ma'am,
Please.
okay. So I would like to answer that. So basically, there are various kind of CAPI softwares. What we call is like we moved from PAPI to CAPI. PAPI is paper and pencil based interviews which we conduct, and CAPI is computer assisted personal interviews. So there are various softwares available in the market. Some are free, some are chargeable. So Kobo is one of the CAPI tools which is free to a greater extent. If you want to do a short survey, Kobo free toolbox is handy to do that. And if you want to like move on to more complex kind of questions, designs, and you want various layers to, you try to add into that, then you would require a kind of paid version of that also. Apart from that, there are CS Pro, which is available, which requires much more coding than Kobo. So Kobo is a bit user friendly to that extent. And there are other platforms which is available by the World Bank or other international agencies. They provide for a charge. So that is apart from that, there are research institutions and university have developed their own Kobo tools by actually designing the softwares. So like IIT Delhi has done it. So so there are various ways. So this is actually a way to collect the data in a sophisticated manner, reducing errors. So CAPI, so you are free to use any of these, and some are paid, some are free. So depending on the size of your survey, the complexity of your survey, you will choose the kind of software. So we are not recommending anything. So it is based on your usage, need and usage. So yeah, this is again for Kobo is a free software, no software to be installed for creating questionnaire, compatible with Android data collection. Yes, it is compatible with Android and others. The source code is available on public domain, training document available. So these are, this is not the question, right? Good. So this is the Shruti. Okay, so there is another question from A.R. Joshi, MP, Madhya Pradesh, Rajya Niti Ayog. Could you please recapitulate the 8 schemes selected for MNE? So these are the 8 schemes which were selected was like PM Ujjwala, Swachh Bharat Mission, urban, rural, and सर्व शिक्षा अभियान, प्रधानमंत्री मातृ वंदना योजना, JJM जल जीवन मिशन, बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ, so and PM Kisan. So these were the 8 schemes that were selected for this initiative of DMEO. It was selected because they were of outreach in throughout the India, and they have been in force for a very long period of time. As you know, like if you want to evaluate any kind of schemes, though this was not a proper full-fledged evaluation exercise, but still a scheme has to be in operation for at least 3 to 4 years for making any headway in the ground and you to pick up the delta from the baseline. So these were the schemes that were chosen. Any follow-up question, you can raise hand and ask to any panelist, anyone. Yeah. One question is regarding how can independent consultant contribute towards capacity building initiative of DMEO? Uh,
Independent consultant
meaning anybody like. So as of now, like we do not hire individual consultant. We only hire technical consultant for taking up projects, and that is done through Government of India GEM portal. We provide the terms of reference and the RFP which is floated on that. So we, as of now, we are not in the process of hiring independent consultant for providing capacity. So what we do is like in-house, we have a team of experts here in-house, and we only provide capacity building exercise to the states or central ministries, whichever require and whichever request for. So we do not go on for hiring of consultants for this purpose. Yeah. If any questions can for panelists, you can raise hand and unmute yourself and ask. Yes. Yes.
So, for a student who is interested in monitoring and evaluation, what steps do you suggest should a student take at a university level to prepare them for this kind of career?
So this is a question for whom? Me?
Yes.
You can ask the panelists. There are university professors.
Yeah,
So,
Professor Shyam
yeah.
Singh, he just explained the courses that are already available in the PGDM in rural management. He actually answered that question.
I meant in terms of at a grassroots level, like a club or as in an everyday practice. What can we do to do that?
Yeah, Professor Shyam, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, sure. I think, okay, even if there are no courses on M&E per se, but I think the colleges and universities can promote clubs. For example, I gave example of two clubs that we are mentoring. One is on development consulting, which is nothing but precisely monitoring and evaluation and impact evaluation. Another is on public policy. So the broader understanding of public policy, which includes one set of understanding is about the, M&E. So I think students can do that. Some NGOs have taken some initiatives of actually training these upper primary and higher secondary school kids in the villages where there are clubs. They participate in Bal Sabha and they do ask uncomfortable questions to Sarpanch. Now, I don't think we need to go to that extent because these are only, one or two such experiences. But colleges can certainly promote clubs which are beyond the curriculum, but pretty much very important for training students, what should be doing when they are analyzing a policy or trying to understand the impact.
I can try to add to his list. I would actually say one is try to do courses online. There are a lot of courses that are free. For example, the JPAL MIT X MicroMasters course that I mentioned, there are 8 modules. If you don't want the certificate, you can actually do all the courses for free. So you can actually get a broader understanding of public policy more broadly. I would strongly encourage you to do internships, right? So try to look out for organizations, including DMU, right? They have young professional programs. There are other institutes more broadly. Think about who you want to intern with to get that practical hands-on experience. There are also a lot of VOPs that have come up, right? So there is something called Eval Youth. You can look them up online. They do a lot of work around youth and M&E more broadly. And they are also present in India. So I would also say that try to join them and work with them in the process. Yeah, over to you, Dr. Dash.
So we have run out of time. So I would just like to summarize. So basically, this has been a very fascinating session with regard to capacity building national level. So we had a very eminent panelist, all of them starting from government, Sonia ma'am, and from the universities who actually being a partner and have produced very good reports, like Maharashtra and Jadavpur University, and also Jepal and Irma. So we had a very good discussion with regard to how, so this was an initiative which we took at DMEO by engaging with state level universities and trying to build an M&E ecosystem beyond the big fours and the big six, which are located in Delhi and others. So we want to take the evaluation to its roots, understand the local context, who are in a better position to understand the local context, make a kind of case for job opportunities for the students. They are creating an enthusiasm in the field of M&E. At the same time, as madam has stated that students come and go, we have to interact more with the faculties there. So we need to also taking Professor Shyam's example, that this is not a tool, so it needs to be disciplined, and maybe we have to take up with the Ministry of Education, UGCs, and come up with a well-structured program in the M&E, because this is only going to grow, and the field is only going to grow. Its importance is only going to grow, and it's a growing area field, and where the capacity building has to be done. And at the central level, we are the apex body of MNE. We are taking steps in this direction, and we will also encourage state governments and state universities to take similar steps and also engage with us in a greater manner by applying to the our big evaluation projects, which we always put it on our website through the open platform. We also provide additional marks to the universities which actually apply for such kind of evaluations. So these are the steps I would say the baby steps we have started taking, but this is only the beginning. We will continue with such kind of steps and encourage universities for greater collaboration. Students also can actually collaborate with us in terms of internship and other taking up regular jobs as YPs and others. So with that, I would like ma'am to say any final remarks, and we'll close this session. Over to you, ma'am.
Just to say thank you to all of you, and please stay connected with us, and let's move in this space, and let's try to evolve this ecosystem properly. And I think all of us are doing our job well here, but more needs to be done. So the idea is to promote accountability and transparency in the system, so that we have evidence-based policy making, which becomes important for having outcomes which are more equitable in terms of different regions of the country, different income classes, and also better development outcomes. So the idea here is to get outcomes which are to improve the outcomes of our public policy making. And resources obviously have a value, and we are always in a situation where there are dearth of resources and more number of uses to which these resources can be put to. So we need to be judicious in the way we allocate resources, and M&E would be very, very important to do this judicious allocation of public resources, so that it leads to development for all. So with that, thank you so much, and hope to remain connected with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.